Hey friends, today we are drawing Roz from The Wild Robot.
Hey party people, welcome to Party Create.
Well, hey, I'm Tom from Party Create, where we love to help kids like you grow in your art and creativity. Today we are starting a new series, drawing the characters from The Wild Robot, starting with The Wild Robot herself, Roz. So grab a piece of paper, grab some pencils, and let's get drawing. To start this drawing, what we're going to do is we are going to begin with her head, and then we're going to begin with a line of action or a gesture that's going to help us get some action and direction for this character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with her head. So I'm going to draw in a small circle. Let's do it like right around here, just off the center of the page, a little bit to the left. I'm going to begin to draw in that circular shape for her head. Now this is going to stay really light. I'm not going to worry about the detail. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to draw in this line of action. So this line of action is going to be what we attached everything to give our character motion. We don't want them to just stand upright and be really stiff and kind of look robotic, even though this is a robot. We want this robot to be walking, running through the woods. So this line's going to come down and curl out to the back. So now we know we want a circle for the torso. It's going to be about this big. We're going to put that in there. And then we've got a half circle that comes along this line as well that is going to be the beginning of her hips. So we're going to draw in a circle that gets cut just almost in half by the larger circle above it. But again, we're going to keep it along this line of action. And this line is going to help us make sure we get everything in the right place. So we've got the circle for her torso, we got the circle for her hips, and then this line is going to help us know where to put one of her legs as she's running forward. So this character is interesting because her hips are actually off to the sides. We've got one hip here and another hip here. They're very small circles. This one's going to be hidden by the midsection, and this one's actually going to be out in front. And so you'll see this kind of come forward, and this will be behind. And then what we want to do is we want to follow this line of action, right? So I'm going to bring the arc of the leg down to here and meet where this line is, so that we've got that solid, smooth line coming through the character. So this one line, this is what we're going to start with the leg, and then we're going to draw in a foot out here with just a circle. Once we get this leg kind of established and it's going across the line of action, we can come back with this leg. And we want this one to curl forward in a running motion and down. And then the foot is going to come down here, and we're just going to draw in a circle here, kind of an ellipse, to illustrate that front foot. Once we have these shapes here, we can see that the hips are leaning forward, right? They're not straight, they're leaning forward because this character is leaning forward to run. So the shoulders are going to be very, very similar. So instead of it being straight across, we've got one shoulder here, it's a circle, and then we got another circle here, and it's kind of going to be even across the body. And then what we can do is we can draw in her arms. So we've got one arm. We're going to start with the hand. We want the hand to be around here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw in a line that curves down, kind of a J. It's going to be hidden coming in from behind this hand right here, and it's going to curl down and up. And over here we've got the other arm coming down to here. Now her arms are just super long, so they're going to be a little bit longer than the average human, but we're going to draw in that sketchy line to help us connect it, to know where we're going to put that. As I'm looking at this character, I want this back leg to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to extend it and have it kind of cross over that line of action, just so that the legs are a little bit longer. Now again, we're keeping it really light so that we can change these things. 90% of a sketch or a drawing happens in the first few moments when we are just trying to get the right proportions of the arms and the legs and all that. We've got this leg, and we know from the character her legs start out very thin at the hips and get wider as they get down to the feet. So I'm going to draw in the top line and the bottom line. And then this is going to connect to this little hip with a backwards C, and then this is going to come up and over on the top. This is going to come over on the bottom and get wider as we get closer to the foot. And then what we can do is we can do the exact same thing on the back. So I'm going to start with that bottom line, and then I'm going to do the top. So this is going to curl back down, get wider at the bottom, and her ankle is actually another cylinder, almost like a funnel shape where it gets bigger at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in a circle here, and then a slightly smaller circle here, and then I'm going to connect them, right? So it gets wider at the bottom. So it's the top of the cylinder, the bottom of the cylinder. The bottom's wider than the top. The same thing down here. I'm going to draw on a cylinder here for the top, and then I'm going to draw on a bigger cylinder down here for the bottom. So she's moving forward. She's got this foot going straight ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in that toe. It's going to come out a little bit in front of the character, and then we've got this one here, and the toe is going to be going down towards the bottom of the page. So U shape, and it meets here to create the foot. Okay, so let's go to the arms. Same concept. We're going to draw the top. It's going to get wider as it gets to the hand. Now, because this hand's in front and it's coming at you, it's really going to be pronounced right here. So it's going to be a lot bigger, and then it's going to get thin as we get closer. Again, we're going to follow this line here. We're going to bring it in and down, getting wider as we get to the hand. And then we can draw a little bit of a U shape there as that arm connects to the hand. So let's get started on these hands then. So what we can do is we can draw in this circular shape that's going to be almost like a cube, right? So it's a roundish, circular cube, rectangular, wider going this way, shorter going this way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines for the fingers. We got 1 finger here, 1 finger here, and the third one here. We're going to draw on the thumb down here. So the thumb actually is literally just a circle. But what we're going to do is we're going to follow these lines for the hand, and we're going to have them curl over and meet the bottom at the base, this circle, right? See how we got this circle here, and then we got these lines coming out? We're just going to follow that, meet at the top, and come out, right? They kind of look like just like hot dogs or something, but they look like beans. They're kind of curved, but these hands are going to move out this direction. So we've got this kind of shielded area that goes underneath here, and this is, let's just really draw, it's like shadow in here, so we can cover that in. And then looking over here on this arm, we're going to do the same thing with this hand. We're going to draw in a rectangle that's curved right here. It's going to kind of come behind the back of the hand. See how it kind of curls up into here, right here, and right here. And then we're going to round the bottom. So it's kind of a rounded rectangle. And I'm going to draw 1 finger here, upside down U, another one over here, and then a third one right here. And they're kind of curling this direction. Add in some of the details. And then I'm going to draw in a thumb right here. And this thumb's going to be pointing out like this. And I'm going to add in some of the details there. So once you've gotten to this point, you might be thinking, well, what about the slinky lines along the legs and the arms? The easiest way to do that is to follow the shape of the cylinder, right? So we know that this curve is going to be extended here. We're going to follow that all the way up to the front. Now what you'll find though is once you get to the curve, this cylinder is going to then turn into the end down here, and it's going to mirror this cylinder that you created down here. So this line follows this, keep going, and then it starts morphing into this shape right here. Same thing with this, right? We've got this line here, 1, 2, 3, keeps coming down, and then as you get closer, well, actually, it's the same angle, so you don't actually have to change it. So it's going to just kind of follow and flow down into here. Okay, so this arm, we've got it coming, it's coming out in front of that shoulder joint. We've got this angle right here, you can kind of see it, and then you're just going to follow that all the way down here. Same thing with this one. We've got this this line here, we're going to follow that the whole way down until it shifts into this angle right here. And again, this is a sketch. We want to keep it light. We want to be able to make some changes later if we need to. So for the neck, what we're going to do is we've got this center line for the line of action. That's where the neck is going to go. We're going to have it kind of hidden down here. So we're going to do a U shape for the top of the armor. On the shoulders, we've got these shoulder pads that we're going to draw in here. So they're kind of like rounded slices of pizza. They're hidden by the front of that torso, of that armor. And then on this one, it kind of comes out in front of everything. And it's a rounded rectangle again right there. And it's going to be kind of following the curve of the shoulder. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on this midsection, right? So we've got this circle, but this is actually a semicircle. So we're going to cut this in half. We're going to do this with a little line right here that follows the curve, right? It's like a basketball, if you were to cut a basketball in half. And then we're going to just leave the bottom half of that shape. We're not going to keep the top half. We're going to keep it open like this. So you can go back and erase those guidelines that you made earlier. You'll see that the bottom of this sphere kind of hovers above the top of this half circle. Alright, so let's get going on the face. So we are going to be having Roz looking forward. We've got the general shape of her head, but we want to follow this circle looking this direction. So again, if you're to have a basketball, and a basketball at home is actually a really great way to understand how this works, you want to have a line that is kind of cutting through the circle, right? And then that front line is going to be the line that we use to follow the center of her face. So from that line, curled to the front, meeting at the neck, we are going to draw in a circle here and a circle here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little circle here looking back, like she's looking back at something. And you can draw in the details of the armor right here. We got a line up here, a line down here, and then a line following the curves down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw in circles here for the ankles, one circle here, and then another one right here. And then for the armor, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little curve that comes down here around that circle, and then it's going to follow the cylinder in the front. And then this is going to come over and down, and that's going to make up the ankle. The foot is hidden underneath. It kind of pops out from underneath here. And then there's little bits of line work for the armor that you can add in here as well. So then over here, we're going to draw the same thing. We've got this circle. Let's draw in the circular shape around it, going into the front of the ankle. And this is going to kind of come underneath with the foot sneaking out. On the front of her armor, if we were to do the same thing where we kind of cut it in half with a circular shape, we can find the dead center of that armor as it goes around the curve. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in a shape for the front, and this is really just a simple upside down U squished, and then we've got a whole bunch of things that follow that line around the front of her armor. We've got a U here, we've got lines that come down here like that. When the Wild Robot was first written, the Wild Robot did not look like this, and so it's changed and evolved quite a bit to this movie. So you can make it however you'd like to make it. And so I'm going to add in a rectangle shape for the just little markings, and then I can just go in that rectangle and add in smaller ones to show what's going to get kind of colored in. And once you're kind of at this point, we are at the point where we can actually start using the inking to pick those best lines. So let's get started on my favorite part. Alright, so now that we're at this point of drawing Roz, we can get out our markers or our colored pencils or however it is that you want to draw in your character. I'm going to outline all my best lines in ink, and that's going to allow me to get some really crispy, clean lines on my character. So I'm going to speed up this process as we're going, but you guys can follow along as we are adding in these lines. Don't be afraid to be making some changes at this point of your drawing. If there's some lines that you did earlier that you don't like, well, now that you're using this marker, you can make some big changes to your drawing. And you'll see as I'm going over this, there'll be little spots that I just didn't really like originally that I'm going to go back and change. Alright, and so once you're done with your inking, let it dry, and then go back with an eraser and take out some of those sketchy lines, and you can begin coloring. Alright, to begin coloring, I'm going to start really light, and I'm going to work in where the light and the shadow is going to come from. Light is going to be coming from over here, shadow is going to be coming from over here. And so the left side of all of the different parts of the character are going to be darker, and the right side that are facing the light are going to be a little bit lighter. But to start, we're going to start with just a really light layer of gray. And keep in mind as you're doing this to make sure you're following the curve of all the different pieces of her figure. So for instance, on the torso, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start dark, but I'm going to wrap it around like this. And then what we can do is if we want to add in some highlight on the spots that are lighter, we can actually use a color like a blue. Now this blue is actually perfect for her eyes. Really lightly add in some blue around the outside to kind of make it look like, hey, maybe there's like a blue light coming from that direction that is causing the character to have that reflection, you know. I hope you enjoyed drawing with me today. I hope you enjoyed drawing. I can't wait to see this movie. I'm so looking forward to it. If you enjoyed drawing with me today, make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can catch more of our videos coming out soon, and to stay up to date with Party Create. A white paint pen at the end can be a lot of fun. We can just add in a little streak of highlight, give it a little bit of a shine to it. And there you have it, guys. Roz from the Wild Robot. Well, hey, I had a ton of fun drawing Roz from the Wild Robot with you guys. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to continue catching our Party Create videos. Until next time, we'll see you later.